Before we begin with the class on exponential and logarithm function, I have corrected your midterm to numbers. Some are corrected by a different lecturer. So I think some of you do very well, but some of you already given up when you are looking at some problem. I just want to remind you. So if you like, say, I'm correcting number A3. I'm correcting A3. For this is given that p squared plus 2pq equals 7, and you are asked to find dq dp and what is the elasticity of demand. Okay, some of you leave A3 the B part blank. I just want to remind you, but if you just try a little harder, you just write this down. The formula, I give you 1 point. But some of you, didn't even write the formula and just leave it blank. Okay, I think you have to struggle more. You have to keep fighting, because after this, it will be a little hard. So, so I hope that you will do well on your final. But don't forget, when you are writing the formula, we will give you marks. So don't give up. Okay. Some of you, I'm very amazed, because some of you did it perfectly for A3 and A4. Yeah, okay. And this is the exponential and logarithm function. Maybe some of you haven't learned about it, so you have to learn it in 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 appointment. I hope you can catch this. Okay, let's start. This is the first one is review on some exponent. So if I have a is in real to the power of 0, it should be 1. I have given you the explanation on the video. The same if I have a to the minus n, this is equals 1 over a to the n. I have given explanation at the video also, if you have already watched it. A to the m over n, this is a to the m, n root of a to the power of m. Okay, it can also be written as a to the m, a to the power of m, to the power of 1 over n. Okay, so this is the example. If I have 5 to the power of 0, it should be 1. And 3 to the power of minus 3, it is 1 divided by 3 to the power of 3 cubed. And this is just 1 over 27. What about 9 to the power of 3 over 2? This is 9 to the power of 3, 9 cubed, square root of 9 cubed. Okay, so I have 9 squared times 9. Why? Because the square root of 9 squared is just 9. Okay, so I divide it into 9 squared times 9, because this is just 9 squared times 9 to the 1. Okay, 9 to the 3 is 9 to the 1 times 9 to the 1. So I can divide it this into square root of 9 squared times the square root of 9. So the square root of 9 squared is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So I have 9 times 3 is 27. Okay. And about 9 to the power of minus 3 over 2. This is the same as 1 over 9 to the 3 divided by 2. And I can do other ways. 9 to the power of 3 over 2. 3 over 2 is 1 plus a half. 1 plus a half. So it is equals 9 to the power of 1 times 9 to the power of a half. 9 to the power of 1 is 9. 9 to the power of a half is square root of 9. So I have 9 times 3 is 27. 1 over 27. Okay. Or you can do directly this. 1 divided by 9 to the power of 3 over 2 is 27. So I can just fill out 1 divided by 27. Okay. For this one, do you have any questions? This is just reviewing on exponent, yeah. Reviewing for exponent. And this works for every n. Okay, a to the power f minus n. This works for every n. And this one also, yeah, this one also. So I have an example is this, and this is the rule of exponent. If I have a and b is positive, then for all x, y in R, there is equality rule. So if I have 3 to the x equals 1 over 9, I can make this 1 to the 9 is 1 to the 3 to the power of 2, 3 squared. And 1 over 3 squared is 3 to the power of minus 2. So the base is the same, 3 to the power of x and 3 to the power minus 2. So the base is 3. And you should have x equals minus 2. Yeah, the same as this. If you have b, the base, to the power of x equals the base, the same base, to the power of y, if and only if x equals y. So if you have this one, 2 times 5 minus 2x squared equals 1 over 8. 1 over 8 is 1 divided by 2 to the power of 3. Okay, what is 1 to the power 1 divided by 2 to the cube? This is the same as 2 to the power of minus 3. And the base is the same, 2 and 2. So I have 5 minus 2x squared equals minus 3. This one. Okay, yeah? And I can get all to the left hand side. So I have 8 minus 2x squared equals 0. And I can multiply it by minus 1. So I have 2x squared minus 8 equals 0. And I can factor out 2. I have x squared minus 4 equals 0. And that means x equals 2 or x equals minus 2. Okay, that's from the first rule, equality rule. And for the product rule, if I have 3 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 4 is 3 to the power of 3 plus 4. That is 3 to the power of 7. Okay. The same for division. I have 3 minus 4. That is 3 to the power of minus 1. What is 3 to the power of minus 1 is 1 divided by 3 to the power of 1. And 3 to the power of 1 is just 1 over 3. And what about the exponentiation rule? So I have 2 to the power of 3 to cube squared, 2 cube squared. This is the same as 2 to the power of 3 times 2. 3 times 2. So you have 2 to the power of 6. That is 64. And if you have 2 to the power of 2, 2 cube times 2 squared times 5 squared. So I can have it like this, 2 times 5 squared. I can arrange this. I have explained it on the video also. So you have this is 10 squared, so you have 100. And this one, if you have 10 squared divided by 5 squared, it equals the 10 divided by 5 squared. And to the 5 is 0.4 squared, 0.16. Okay, from this one, do you have any question or problem? Michelle, questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Then let's carry on. Okay, this is the graph for y equals 3 to the power of x. This is the blue one here. Okay, y to the power of 2x, this one. Okay, y to the 1.3 to the x, this one, and 1 to the x is just a constant one. Okay, and you have here, if the base is from 0 to 1, so if I have y equals b to the x, when b is from 0 to 1, this one, 1/3, 1/2, 0.7, you will have this kind of graph. Okay, but if you have b greater than 1, you should have this one. Maybe I should write it. Yes, right there. And this should be this one. Yeah, and this is always 1. This is x, this is y. So you have a different kind of figure when the base is from 0 to 1 and when the base is greater than 1. Okay, you can see this, if b is from 0 to 1, it has a horizontal asymptote. The horizontal asymptote is given by y equals 0. The same for b greater than 1, you have the vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote y equals 0. Okay, this one, the x-axis. X-axis is y equals 0. This is the horizontal asymptote. Okay, and the function is divine, continuous. It is divine, continuous, and always positive. Always positive. It can never be 0. It always positive. Always above the x-axis. Positive, yeah. And the axis is the horizontal asymptote. You can look when x goes to infinity. When x goes to infinity, it will go to the height 0 for b from 0 to 1. But from b greater than 1, if x goes to minus infinity, it will go to the height y equals 0. Okay, and this is what you have. And you have an increasing function, increasing. If you have the b is greater than 1, this one, 2 to the x, the b is 2. If the b is between 0 and 1, you have a decreasing one, this one. A half to the x, a decreasing one, this one, a decreasing one. Okay, that is the property of exponential function. And later we can prove that e to the x is e to the x. I have proved it in the video. And let's find the derivative of this one. So fx is e to the 5x plus 1 and gx is e to the x squared minus x. So if I have e to the 5x plus 7, I have the capital X is 5x plus 7. So the derivative of e to the capital X is e to the capital X. But don't forget, we have the derivative with respect to little x, not to the capital X. So we have to multiply with the derivative of the capital X with respect to x, that is 5. So you have 5 times e to the power of 5x plus 7. And what is g prime x? The derivative of g at x, that is e to the power of x squared minus x. Don't forget, now this is the capital X. The capital X is x squared minus x. So the derivative of e to the capital X is e to the capital X. But don't forget, we have to multiply with the derivative of capital X with respect to x. To x minus 1. So you have to x minus 1 times e to the square x squared minus 2. This is by using the chain rule. So any questions? Oh, so silent, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay then. I have already discussed also this. How do we get this formula? So if I have an amount of P dollars, the principal investment, with RPA, this is the interest rate. The investment is 40 years, compounded n times per year. will give an accumulation amount of the accumulated amount. A is principal, P, times 1 plus the interest rate divided by how many it is compounded per every year to the power of n times t. T is how many years, n is how many times it is compounded per year. And if it is compounded continuously, I have the accumulated amount is p to the power of e to the RT. Okay, yeah. And the accumulation using simple interest is just this, 1 plus t times r. T is how many years do you invest it? R is the interest rate. Okay, yeah. The main difference between compound interest and simple interest, when we are doing simple interest, okay, when we are dealing with the compound interest, so the interest get interest, bunganya berbunga. So that's what we usually compound interest, bunga berbunga, bunga majemuk. But in the simple interest, the interest is only from the principal. The interest is from only the principal. You can watch the explanation on the video, yeah. Let's look another one. Whoa, what is this? Lagi. Oh. Okay, yeah, this is the example. So Amir deposit $100 in a bank that offers 6% PA. That is the interest rate. Okay, yeah. After 2 years, find the accumulated amount of Amir's deposit if the bank uses simple interest and the bank uses, no bank uses simple interest. No bank uses simple interest. If a bank uses simple interest, people won't save there, yeah? Won't deposit there. The bank uses compound interest, which is compounded quarterly. So the principal is $100. The interest rate is 0.06 per year. If the bank uses simple interest, then after 2 years, the accumulated amount will be 100 times 1 plus 0.06 times 2. This is the same as 100 times 1.12. So I have $112 in the end of the 2 years. If it is compounded quarterly, then after 2 years, I can just put it, R is 0.06 divided by N. Don't forget quarterly. So in a year, the deposit with the interest, it is compounded 4 times. So I have 0.06 divided by 4. Okay, and for 2 years, so it is compounded 8 times. 4 times 2, that is 8. Okay, so I can use calculator here to use this. If you do not have calculator, you just write this down. 100 times simplify this to the power of 8. That's enough. Okay, yeah. That is the simple interest and compound interest. Maybe you have already done this on your high school. And this is formula for effective interest rate. This is how we compare between interest rate. So this is the problem. Which bank offers the best interest? A bank with interest rate 6% PA per annum per year, compounded monthly, or the other one with interest 6.1% PA compounded semi-annually. That is 2 times a year. So the first effective interest rate is 1 plus r to the power of n to the power of n minus 1. So I can just plug in here. So I have in the end 6.167%. Okay. And the second effective interest rate I can use, don't forget the n is different. Why? Because the second one, it is compounded semi-annually. So 2 times a year. So divided by 2. Monthly 12 times a year. So divided by 12. Okay. So I have this to the power of 2 minus 1. So you have 0.0619. So you have 6.19%. So it is better to have a bank which offer interest rate 6.1% PA compounded semi-annually. Okay, better than you have a 6% PA, but it is compounded monthly. Ya, ini yang ini itu dibungakan tiap bulan, ini dibungakan setengah tahun sekali. Dibungakan setengah tahun sekali. Oke ya. Jadi how do you compare between this interest rate? We usually say that we compare it using the effective interest rate. The effective interest rate. Okay, any questions from this? Oh, ini nggak ada pertanyaan. Okay, number 7, example 7. Alan deposit $100 in a bank that offers interest rate 6% PA compounded monthly. What is the future value of his money in 3 years? So, if I have A equals principal times 1 plus R divided by N to the power of NT, so the principal is what we usually call the present value. The present value of a saving. And A, we usually say the future value. So if I have, if Alan deposit $100, what is the future value of his money? This is the accumulated amount of his money after 3 years. So the future value of his money in 3 years is the accumulated amount after 3 years. So I can just use the formula and I have $119.7. Don't forget, use the full sentences. Okay, what about this one? After 3 years, he want to have $200 in his saving. After 3 years, he wants to have $200 in his saving. So how much does he have to deposit the money to the bank? So in 3 years, he have $200. So this is what we usually call the present value of $200 in 3 years. Okay, so the amount of money he has to deposit is the present value of his money. It will be A equals the same rule, the same formula, but 200 is now the accumulated amount. Okay, yeah, equals P times this. I can simplify this. What is this? This. Okay, so I have 200 equals P times, this is just 1.005 to the power of 36. And this is just 200 equals P times this. So P should be 200 divided by this one. Okay, so if you don't have any calculator, just leave this. Just leave this, because in your final you are not allowed to use calculator, so you just leave this. So the present value of his money should be 200 divided 1.005 to the power of $36. It is enough. But if you are allowed to use calculator, such as now, you have this one, $167.13. So deposit this $100 to make after 3 years grow to 200 with the interest rate 6% PA compounded monthly. So do you have any question here?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. In the formula, it is compounded monthly, so you have to divide it by 12 to the times 3 to the power. But if you compound it like semi-annually, so it will be 2 times 3 formula to the power of 2 times 3, right?
Yes.
And if it compounded like quarterly,
yes,
it
you
will
have
be
to divide it by 4 and to the power of 4 times t.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. So your name?
Abdi, sir. Abdi.
Oh, Abdi Muaram. Okay, Abdi Muaram. Okay. Thank you for the questions. Okay, I think we will look at the last part. The last part is on logarithm. Yeah, some of you is very afraid with logarithm. Some of you is very afraid of logarithm. But logarithm is very, very simple. Very, very simple. I give you this one. So if I have 2 to the power of 3 is 8, in logarithm, they say logarithm with base 2 of 8 equals 3. So it's just another way to say something. If you have 2 to the power x of 5, what is x? What is x? So this is log 2, 5x. So x is log 5 with the base 2. Okay, so this is just, so when we are calculating the logarithm, we are just calculating the exponent. What is the exponent? Such that 2 to the power of that equals 5. That is given by logarithm. Okay, so if you have this one, logarithm with base 2 of 1, what is this? What is this? If x equals logarithm 1 with base 2, what is this? I can bring it to the exponential form. And this just the base to the power of the x equals 1. And you have known this, x should be 0. So I think that's so simple. That's very, very simple. So if you have like this, log 2 of 8, what is this? What is this? I can just bring to the exponential form. This is the base. 2 to the power, don't forget, this is the exponent, equals 8. And it should be the same, x equals 3. That's simple. Okay. So if I want to find what is 2 to the power x equals 10, the answer is x, it should be a logarithm. Okay, but if you what is to the power of 5? Yeah, this is just exponential function. Okay, so let's look at this. Log x with the base 4 equals 1. What does it mean? This means 4 to the power of 1 equals x. So x should be 4. That's simple. What about logarithm x with the base 4? This is 4 to the power of 0 equal x. 4 to the power of 0 and x. And 4 to the power of 0 is 1, so x should be 1. What about this one? Logarithm x with the base 5 is 2. If I can bring this to the exponential form, that is 5 to the power of 2 equal x. So x should be 25. That's simple. This one, 5 to the power of x equals, do I find the exponent? Logarithm. So I can use this. This is logarithm with the base 5, the same base, of 3 equals x. So x should be logarithm 3 with base 5. So it's just another kind of saying exponential. So if you have exponential, it's just y equals b to the x. How do I find x? The logarithm. Okay. So this is the property of logarithm. We can prove that, and I can have shown it to the video, that this is the inverse function of this. So if I have y equals b to the power of x, this is gx. So g inverse x, it is given by log b with base b is x. So if you remember, if I have this y equals b to the power of x, how do I find the inverse? Is just reflecting it with to the y equals x. So the logarithm will give you this kind of form of the curve. It will goes to minus infinity if your x goes to 0 from plus. It will goes to minus infinity. It is not divine on x negative. It is only divine for x positive. It is not divine at x equals 0. Why? Because this is just reflecting this with respect to y equals x. Okay, reflecting this, reflecting this, reflecting this. So I have this as my logarithm x with the base b. Don't forget, if we have this one, if we have this one, that's the same. So this is the y equals b to the x, but b is from 0 to 1. Okay, what is the logarithm of this? So I have to reflect this. I have to reflect this with respect to y equals x. Reflect this, and I can have this kind of figure. So this will go to this. This asymptote will go to this asymptote. Okay, and this one can be reflected downward. So this is y equals log x with base, but base is from 0 to 1. This is for b greater than 1. Okay, we are just translating it, reflecting it with the respect to the y equals x. Okay, so that's the figure. Let's look at the property of logarithm. Okay, so if I have log u equals log phi with the same base, it means that u equals phi. Do I have it somewhere, or I don't have? Okay, so this one. So I have logarithm 5 with the base 2, logarithm 3x minus 1 with base 2. Okay, so if the base is the same, so 5 should be equal to 3x minus 1. So 3x minus 1 equals 5. And I can do the algebra, and I have x equals 2. Okay, this is the equality rule, the first rule. The product rule, log of u times v with respect to b is log u plus log v. So if you have 6, log 6 with base 2, you have, this is 3 times 2, so you have log 3 plus log 2. Don't forget, there is hierarchy in mathematics. Of operation. That is, my former student usually say that PEMDAS, he said, parenthesis, PEMDAS exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Okay, so remember, when we are dealing with logarithm, it simplifies the operation. So if I have logarithm of u times phi with the base the same, this is the same as log u plus log phi with the same base. Okay, so if you have multiplication here, the operation will go down into addition and subtraction. Okay, so the hierarchy, so it simplifies things. So if you have multiplication, it will become addition, or division will become subtraction. Okay, it's simplifying. So if I have the other one, so if I have log with base b here, maybe 5 to the power of 4, this is the same as, this is exponentiation. Exponentiation, this is the second on the hierarchy, but with logarithm, it will change hierarchy. It will go down by 1. It will become multiplication. Multiplication. This is multiplication. Okay, and if you have maybe this is 22, maybe it will give you, this is 22 equals 2 times 11, so it will give you log 2 plus log 11 with the same base b. Okay, it simplifies things, but don't forget with base b, this is not the same as log 2 plus 11. Very, very careful. Very, very careful. Because we are simplifying things. This is from multiplication, from addition into multiplication. It makes things harder. It makes things harder. And from the hierarchy, it goes up, not goes down. So if I have logarithm of, this is just logarithm plus logarithm. Don't forget, yeah. And logarithm of x to the power of y is y to the log x. This is multiplication. Exponentiation becomes multiplication. Okay, yeah. And multiplication become subtraction or addition. Okay, yeah. Don't forget. People usually, student usually tertukar ya, tertukar kadang-kadang. So I have this one, logarithm 6. 6 is 3 times 2, so it simplifies things. It equals log 3 plus log 2 with the same base. But what is log 2 plus log 2 of the base 1? This is just 1. Don't forget, what is this? 2 to the power of what equals 2. 2 to the power of something equals 2. That is 1. Okay. But if you pay attention, why don't I use plus 1 here instead? Do you have any idea? Why don't I write 3 plus 1 here? But I use plus 1 plus in front of this, in front of the logarithm. Do you have any idea why? So Simon. Yes. Why?
A constant comes before the logarithm.
Okay, thank you. Your name, sorry?
Vero.
Vero, thank you. Yeah. So the constant should be in front, but I want to. Some of you, sometimes you are do it in a hurry. So if you write this down, you will later end up it log 4 because this is 3 plus 1. So another way is plus 1 is in front, or a better way is just this. Of 3 plus 1. Yeah. So you don't get mixed up between 3 plus 1 and 1 plus logarithm of this, because it is a different creature. Okay. Or we could just always use parentheses here to make this logarithm plus a constant 1. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's why the same one. If I have log of 3/4, don't forget it simplifies things. Logarithm simplifies things. So it will give you log 3 minus log 4 with the same base 4. What is log 4 with the base 4? So log 4 to the base 4 is asking 4 to the power of something is 4. What is something? 1. So I have log of this minus 1. So minus 1, I get it to the front. So you don't get mixed up with log of 3 minus 1. Okay, so you have minus 1 plus log 3 to the power to the base of 4. And this one, this is the exponentiation. When you have exponentiation, it will become a multiplication, 5 to the power of log 2 with the base 5. Don't forget, this is not derivative. So this is not 5 log 2 to the power of 4. Very, very careful. Very, very careful, yeah? This is not the derivative. Very, very careful. So what is the properties? I have the properties, isn't it? Oh, the properties of this. Okay, and this is the properties. It is the property. The logarithm function, it is divine and continuous for all x greater than 0. For all x greater than 0. And the y-axis, this one, is the vertical asymptote. Okay, yeah? Whether you have b from 0 to 1 or b greater than 1. Look at this. Okay, yeah? Both of them have x equals 0, the y-axis as the vertical asymptote. This one and this one, vertical asymptote. Okay, yeah? Both of them have vertical asymptote. The x-intercept is 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay, yeah? The same for b from 0 to 1, 1, 0. The same, because this is just reflecting with with y to the x, line y to the x. Okay. And this one, yeah. If b from 0 to 1, when x goes to 0 plus, okay. This one, when x goes to 0 plus, when b is from 0 to 1, it will goes to plus infinity. But when b is greater than 1, when x goes to 0, this is goes to 0, the height will goes to minus infinity. Okay, yeah, pay attention. So sometimes it goes to plus infinity, that is when b from 0 to 1. Sometimes it goes to minus infinity when b is greater than 1. Okay, and it is only divine for b positive. It is only divine for b positive. And the function is the same. Increasing here if b is greater than 1, decreasing if b from 0 to 1. Okay, you can just look at the graph. A little more on the property. This is the relation between different base of logarithm. So if you have logarithm x with the base b, I want to change it to the base c. I have log x divided by log b with the base c. Okay, in your high school, usually you have this times this equals log c to the x. So log b with the base c times log b with the base x equals log x to the base c. So it can just look at this. This is like, yeah, this is, okay, it cancels out. So you have log c with base x. Okay, you can look at that way. Okay, but I want to remind you something, that logarithm with base e, what is e? E is 2.7128, etc. This is just a constant between 2 and 3. Okay, this is just constant between 2 and 3. So if you have this one, this is a very, very important base. This will give you logarithm, natural logarithm of x. We usually write this down as this one, ln x. This is logarithm with base e. Okay, and the derivative of this ln x is 1 over x. 1 over x. Okay, now let's simplify this logarithm. Log 3 with base 2 times log 5 with base 3. Okay, this cancels out, so you have log 5 with base 2. This one. Okay, so you just like this cancels out. So you have log 5 with base 2. Okay, and change this logarithm to base 3. This is base 5. This is base 5 equals base 3 just 7 divided by logarithm 5. Logarithm 7 divided by the base logarithm, logarithm 5. Okay, that's what we usually call the change of basis property, the change of basis property. So this is the second last one. Find the derivative of this. Okay, don't forget we have this one. The derivative of ln x is 1 over x. What is logarithm ln x? Ln x is logarithm with base e. What is e? Is 2.7. It is just a constant from okay. So if I have, what is the derivative of this? This is, I can look at this as the capital X. So the derivative is given by 1 over the capital X. Don't forget with chain rule. So this is just 1 divided by 5x plus 7 times the derivative of this with respect to x is 5. So I have this one. What about the derivative of this? The derivative of this is 1 over, I can change it into capital X, ln capital X, and the derivative with respect to capital X of ln capital X is just 1 over capital X. So I have 1 over capital X, 1 x squared plus x, times the derivative of x squared plus x with respect to x, that is 2x plus 1. So you have 2x plus 1 divided by x squared plus x. What is this? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. And the last example. Don't forget, when we are dealing with logarithm, we are dealing with finding the exponent. Okay, yeah. Here is the application. So Arcanta deposit $100 in a bank that offer interest rate 6% PA per annum, compounded monthly. For how many years does he have to wait so that the accumulated amount will be 150? So the same what they say? The same compound interest formula. Accumulated equals the principal times 1 plus r to the n. R is the interest rate. N is how many it is compounded, how many times it is compounded a year, to the power of n times t. T is how many years it is deposit. So I have a equals 150. The principal is 100. I want to find t such that 150 equals 100 times this. I can simplify this. This is just 1.005 to the power of 12t. So I have something equals something to the power of something. How do I find the exponent? Using logarithm. So we usually use the natural logarithm ln. So ln of 1,5 equals ln of this. Okay, yeah? This is just this. But don't forget, if I have logarithm, it simplifies things. If you have exponentiation, it will become a multiplication. So you have ln 1,5 equals, this comes down into multiplication, 12t times natural logarithm of 1.005. Okay, yeah? And if you calculate this, T should be ln natural logarithm of 1.5 divided by this divided by 12. I missed the 12. Sorry. I missed the 12. So 12 times this. So I have, if you are not using calculator, so this is enough. Just leave this. Ln 1.5 divided by 12 times ln of 1.005. These years, you just say this. But if you have calculator, you can calculate this divided by 12. Yeah. Divided by 12, I think it will give you 12 by 7, 7 comma something years. Plus 12 times 7 is, 84. Oh, sorry. It should be 672. Yeah, okay. 672, 72 plus 672 plus. Yeah, okay. 6 or 7 years or so. Yeah. Okay. I think that would be all. So I'm just looking. Let me review on the exponent. So for the exponent, I have this kind of formula. To the power of 0, to the power of negative, and to the power of rational. Now I have all of this. And there are rules for exponent here: the equality, the product, the quotient, exponentiation, product rule, quotient rule, quotient rule. You can look at this, and this is the graph. Don't forget, the graph is different when b from 0 to 1 and b is greater than 1. We don't talk when b equals 1, yeah, because this is just a constant. We are not interested. So this is the property of exponential function. It is defined for all x, continuous, always positive, always on the upper part of the x-axis, have horizontal asymptote, that is the x-axis, y equals 0. When you can look at this, yeah, when x goes to infinity, decreasing, increasing, it depends on b is from 0 to 1 or b is greater than 1. The derivative is this, and the application is on the compound interest. Okay, yeah. The effective interest rate, also future value and the present value of an investment of a deposit. Okay, of a deposit. And you find out the logarithm. It is just the inverse of exponentiation. And if you have the logarithm here, how do I find the exponent? Just use the logarithm. Okay, so it's just an inverse function. So you have this one. This is the properties, the relation between bases, the derivative, and the application is on the finding how many years such that it reach some accumulated amount. So do you have any question from here? Next one, we will talk about the derivative of other logarithm function and the derivative of other exponent function and its application. So I hope you watch the video first, yeah. It is rather, yeah, okay. If you just look at this once, I don't think you can do it. You have to look over and over again. Okay, any questions? Divan, questions?
Nothing, no.
Oh, okay.
For now, no, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can I ask
something? Yeah, Brisa.